Smith & Wesson SW9VE, next on the Gun Buff channel. Okay folks, I wanted to show you the SW9VE. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Okay, so it is a polymer and stainless steel slide 9mm, although it does come in 40. First and foremost, let's do a safety check. Nothing in the chamber, no mag. It is a safe weapon. Okay, it is a double action only polymer and stainless steel slide 4-inch barrel 9mm, although it does come in 40 as well. So two of the coolest features about this gun, it's really unique, is that it has the hinge trigger of an M&P from Smith & Wesson, but the breakdown, see it's got the two little tabs on either side right there, of the Glocks. So it's kind of like it's a hybrid. How Smith & Wesson isn't paying royalties to Glock for that, I'm not really for sure. It does have a rail. It does have 3-dot white sights, as you can see. They're perfectly fine. They're very, very combat friendly. You know, there's plenty of space there to line up that sight. It does have the witness hole, and the controls are all right-hander. You cannot swap them. So if you're a lefty, you're kind of stuck with it. You will see most of them come in with a 10-round magazine, as you can see this guy is. But Smith & Wesson makes, for those good states out there, they make a 16-rounder in the 9mm. And they have a very similar setup for the 40 as well. So what can I say about them? They are inexpensive. The trigger's not horrible, although it's not fantastic. I've been getting a lot of these in used, and I'll sell them for around $250 to maybe $275, depending on how many mags they have. You can find these brand new for right around $300 or $350. So street price on these are not going to kill you. They're really inexpensive. You can get a customizable, you know, rear plate if you want, like this gentleman did on his. But there she is, just to kind of give you a look at it. Now, to break it down, you're going to do exactly like a Glock. You're going to pull it back a little bit. You're going to pull down on both the tabs. You're going to let it go. You're going to pull that trigger, and the top end's going to fall right off. So it is, as you can tell, a very standard design. So there is the mounting system. It really only has these 4 points where it's metal on metal. Other than that, it is, like I said, it's very M&P-like from the bottom half, and it's very Glock from the top half up. One thing to keep in mind about the recoil spring and guide rod is this is a leaf spring, unlike a coil spring, but it is a plastic guide rod. So after heavy use, this could, you know, maybe be a point of failure, although lots of people actually like these guns. So breakdown is very similar to most modern pistols, as you might imagine. You just nest that right under the barrel and you're good to go. And then you just reassemble it just like you normally would. And then after you do it, I'll do that function check. But that's really all there is to it. So let's take a look and see what the trigger scale says. I bet you it's fairly heavy. Oh, 7.5. That's pretty high. Let's try that one more time. See if I can get that. Oof, right off the chart. So that hinge trigger is hard for these gauges to pick up on, because if you don't get it just right. So 7.25. So it's not exactly a really light trigger, but then again, I don't know that you want really light triggers on self-defense guns. It feels good in the hand. You know, for a double stack 9, that feels pretty good. It doesn't feel like you're holding a 2x4. And possibly one of the coolest things, because not every pistol has it, it is capable of firing with the magazine out. So it doesn't have a magazine safety on it. So you got pretty standard checkering here. It's got the Smith & Wesson emblem on both sides. You do have some more squared checkering on the front and back strap. It does have a little bit up here too as well. So again, its biggest advantage is it's not very expensive. The one thing I would say that's a negative that I'm not super duper fond of is that there appears to be some grittiness to the trigger. Now that could be because this is a used gun and that it's had many rounds through it, or it could be because that's just the trigger. But it's kind of got a gritty sponginess to it, but that also could work out. So anyway, other than that, you know, this is a really decent value. Not only do you get a named brand pistol, but you know, you get the warranty with it. So, and that's supremely important, you know, in today's market. So the controls are exactly what you might think. There's your slide, release, and stop. Your traditional Browning style mag release. Obviously last round hold open. Let's check out its empty weight. So 1 pound 5 ounces. All right, so that's really in line with most of the other polymer 9s out there and 40s. So I think that's probably not that bad. And I also can't tell you how important it is to find quality guns at an affordable price. It's just, these days, that's getting harder and harder to find. So what do I really think about the SW9VE? I think that they are a great value on the used market. I think you get Smith & Wesson on the side of your gun. I think it doesn't cost you very much money. You know, used, you can find them sub 300. New, they're not much more, at around $300 or $350. And you get that lifetime guarantee. That's really important. If it breaks, you just send it back. They're going to take care of it for you. And it is really getting harder to find guns that are a great value, no matter who makes them, whether they're made here in the States or elsewhere. So I think that's a very important thing. There are a few things that I'm not crazy about, and the cons would be, this is really shiny. Okay, that's, you can tell my light is catching it. That is super duper shiny. So that may be a factor in a self-defense scenario, or it might not. It's also a little too big to conceal easily, at least for me. It is a 4-inch service model, but it's still a little bit big. I mean, you can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's big. So I think that leads me to my next point, which is there's not that many aftermarket holsters that I found for it. There are some, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't find very many, you know, of the big boys who make this. Now, most of the custom guys, they'll make anything for you at any time, but these were a little harder to find as far as off-the-shelf, ready-to-go, mass-produced holsters. Magazines are exactly the opposite. There's really no shortage of S&W factory mags, either the restricted 10-rounders or the full-fledged 16-rounders in 9mm. So you'll find those all day long and at a good price. And they, too, have the warranty. So I think really the only issue I am not a huge fan of is the fact that it's a little shiny and it's a little big. Because you can't complain about the price. You cannot complain about the fact that you have an awesome warranty from a brand name manufacturer and the fact that it's made in the States. So I think the last point that I really want to drive home with you guys is that this gun would really shine in the bug out bag roll, cabin gun, boat gun. It's going to work. It's going to go bang every time. It is not as big and heavy as, say, a High Point, which is also affordable, but it's huge. It's like carrying around a boat anchor. This is not. This is ergonomic. It feels good. It kind of has features from the M&P line as well as the Glock line, and it's, you know, a modern design with a serviceable trigger, not a great trigger, but a serviceable trigger. And so because of that, I think you could do a lot worse for your money. So as always, I really appreciate your support. And please, if you like these videos, get out there and like, subscribe, share them. And as always, be safe and be good.